Last night on Instagram Live, Michael Chandler said he wants to fight Justin Gaethje next, and he believes that Gaethje will be an easier fight than Dan Hooker. Chandler also gave his thoughts on the potential fight between him and Khabib Nurmagomedov and said he believes he would knock out Khabib in the second or third round.
Does a fight with Gaethje interest me? Absolutely. Listen, as I said, Poirier and Conor are probably fighting next. That just leaves me, Oliveira, and Gaethje. I think me versus Gaethje is a fan favorite fight. It's a fight that the fans want to see. It's a fight that I want. I think I match up extremely well against him. Matter of fact, I think that's an easier fight stylistically than a fight against Dan Hooker. And you guys saw me take that, and you also saw how that fight went. That's not to say that me and Justin Gaethje wouldn't be a lot longer than 2.5 minutes, but I'm very interested in me versus Justin Gaethje. Who's the GOAT in your opinion? It's tough. Khabib's undefeated, but then again, so is John Jones. Khabib has never been in trouble. Khabib has never failed a drug test. Khabib is a man of his people. He always competes with honor. I'd have to go Khabib or GSP. And why did it take so long for me to go to the UFC? Well, number one, let me change your choice of words. It didn't take me long to get to the UFC. It took me a long time to go to the UFC. I had an opportunity 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, and 8 years ago to go to the UFC, but I always chose to stay with Bellator for various reasons, not the least of which was the fact that I was being taken care of well. I was the face of the franchise, the face of the organization. That didn't mean that I didn't want to fight for the UFC. I told Dana White that in our phone call, that it wasn't because I had not fought for the UFC because I didn't want to. It just never really worked out that way. There was always some kind of weird thing going on with the lightweight division. Conor was off doing boxing matches. There was somewhat of a logjam. At this point in time, it just felt so right for me to go to the UFC at this point. So that's why I did it. But once again, it wasn't that I needed to get to the UFC. It's that I decided to go to the UFC. How will I beat Khabib? Not very easily. Let's get that out there right away. It'd be the toughest fight of my life. It's the toughest matchup in the division. But I do believe that my wrestling can negate his. I do believe that I'll be able to stop his takedowns. I do believe that I will be able to take him down. Not necessarily every time, but over the course of a 25-minute fight, I will be able to take him down. And he's never had a guy like me on top of him. You can ask any of my training partners. I think I bring a pressure. I bring a position game that's just different than a lot of people, and I can do damage. Not to mention, we see Khabib stuck on the feet with somebody with the power that I have in my hands. I think I end up knocking him out in the second or third round.
Jessica Penny makes her return after a 20-month USADA suspension to face Hannah Goldie at UFC 260. Tyron Woodley vs Vicente Luque is also official for UFC 260. Aliaskhab Khizriev vs Kyle Dacus is set for UFC's event on April 10th. Tracy Cortez vs Justine Kish is set for UFC's event on April 17th. Paulo Costa releases new training footage ahead of his upcoming fight with Robert Whittaker on April 17th.
Yeah.
According to reports, Charles Oliveira has turned down the UFC's offer to fight Michael Chandler at UFC 258 on February 13th. Aaron Bronstetter says per AG Fight, the UFC offered Charles Oliveira a fight against Michael Chandler at UFC 258 this month, but Oliveira turned it down because the soon-to-be vacant lightweight title would not be on the line. In a recent interview, Oliveira also said the only fight that makes sense for him is an interim lightweight title fight against Dustin Poirier. Speaking with Ariel Helwani, he went on to say that's the fight that has to happen. It's Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier. On Unlocking the Cage, Michael Chiesa speaks on his recent win over Neil Magny, a fight out on 8. Chiesa says he didn't want to go 5 rounds, but he's glad that he did because now he has the experience of a championship level fight.
Well, it's not that I wanted to, but I just knew you can't expect to finish Neil. I mean, you break down film on the guy, and dude, look at what he went through, a 10-7 round against Hector Lombard. You know what I mean?
Came back and won.
And he came back and won, exactly. And aside from, the RDA fight and the Damian Maia fight, he's always shown that he's a very durable guy, and the Larkin fight. But I just knew that I couldn't have the expectation to go out and rush this guy and finish him early. So I just kind of had to set in my mind, like, be ready to go the distance. And when you do, be able to go fight this guy from pillar to post, bell to bell. And I was able to do that. And I need to know, if I really want to be a champion, RJ and Misha, if I really want to be a champion, I have to be able to push through 5-minute rounds. And that type of experience, it's not like you want to go into a fight and carry a guy, because you're not going to be able to do that at a high level. But it feels good to have gone 5 rounds, know what to expect. So when the day comes that I'm taking that step up in competition against these guys, if the fights only get tougher, I got to be ready to go the distance. And I'm glad that I've experienced that for the first time in my career. And it's going to be very beneficial for me going forward.
According to reports, Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida has been added to UFC 260 on March 27th. O'Malley is coming off a TKO loss to Chito Vera, and Almeida is coming off a decision loss to Jonathan Martinez. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the content, please like the video and don't forget to subscribe for daily MMA and combat sports news.